Hello, everybody. This is our first episode of what would be a web series for KylinEsports, and my beautiful guest here to certain direction around me. I'm going to start off with Kingdom,
Um, welcome to our web series.
and our other co-host being Abe.
How you doing? Just the average, above average solo queue player who basically just grinds out solo queue all day, every day. And I speak for the people.
What about you, Jonathan?
I'm the well-famous known unpaid caster for the Kylin Esports organization. Send me some money. I'm being forced to work against my will.
Okay, with that, let's start off with our first topic, and it's going to be League of Legends ranking system is better than the average game. And our beautiful co-host here, Abe, disagrees with me on this topic.
I don't necessarily disagree. It's just that it's not as good as it probably could be. Just because of the way the game is. Right now, the game is in a state where you have to play a lot with your team. So I know it's a team game and everything, but the way the ranking system works, it's very hard to determine someone's skill with the way the state of the game is right now.
No, well, in that case, it's more about complaining about the meta rather than the ranking system. I mean, the LP, the climbing from division I think it's pretty good.
I think I have to agree on Abe here, saying it is a team game, but it lacks in showing skillship on being like a solo player. Usually, you find yourself sometimes when in a solo queue trying to climb the ladder, like you're 1v9 the whole team. You gotta work against the enemy team, and you gotta work against your own team. Because sometimes your own team they're garbage, but they're in your games. You gotta deal with it.
There's nothing you can really do about it. Yeah. I mean,
Alright,
I've
so-
actually run into a lot of really good players down in like low platinum, and they have like maybe like an extra like 300 to 400 games played than they probably should have in that elo. Just
But in that case, it's more about rotation. I often see where like a player is like they have good mechanics, but like you just don't know where to be. Like it's really obvious, and
no, like I understand. Like some players they don't know how to macro, or they have poor macro or whatever. But there are some really good players down there that I've played against that are just they're better than me or just as good. And I have like on all my mid lane champions, I have like above 60% win rate. And whenever I play mid lane, I play against some of these like people, and their teammates are just bad. Like there's not really much I can say but like that's what I'm talking about when I say that the ranking system is just like it's just really poor in acknowledging good players. Like just because of how focused or like how the game has become really team oriented. Because back in like season, what was it, 3 or 4, you can like solo carry a lot of
yeah,
games.
but that wasn't fun because like you'd always have this player that you want. Well, you'd be playing the game right from the opposite side of the score. It would be where like someone on the enemy team gets fed, and like there's no way to deal with it. Like there's an assassin. He has like 5 kills, and like you're dead. Like there's no counterplay, dude. That was so unfun. To me, I hated it. Like I understand that you want the individuality of League of Legends, but to me, if I can't even fight a guy like a enemy player just because he got like 3 kills off his lane, like how do you want me to like compete? Like as a like I played support, and like when you play support and there's the fed player on the enemy team, there's no counterplay to it.
I don't think the issue is like someone getting overly fed and then they become over dominant. Where you kind of like group up as 5 and defeat that one fed player.
Yeah.
I think the problem is how the game is lacking of recognition of people who are skilled in the game, but they still get like LP loss despite like trying to carry the team. Like they're working their ass off. So like 20 kills, 3 deaths, 14 assists, and you still get a loss. You still get the LP loss, even though it's
Well, like even if you were to ignore KDAs, it's still wrong. I mean, if you were to just look at your KDA and be like, okay, this guy like was trying to carry, so let's take away less LP from him.
in a sense.
The way the game is right now, it's fine. Like there's none of that. So I don't know. I think we kind of went off topic because there's none of that like solo carrying anymore, really, because right now the way the slingshot mechanic works in the game for like catch up XP and shutdown gold, like a lot of people don't realize like when you're really fed and they try to over aggress for like plays that aren't worth and they end up dying for it, like the enemy team catches up like a lot with those shutdowns and the catch up XP and everything. The way the game is right now.
That game makes the game so much more entertaining. Like I understand you really love the hard carry. You really I can tell you love the hard carry. But like you have to look at it at both sides. Like when you're on the other team and like in season 3, let's look back at season 3, right? If you're on the other team and you're down in gold, like let's say 5K, they're still coming back. The game is 10 minutes in or like 15 minutes in. You already know you lost. You're just waiting for the surrender at 20. Nowadays, you can say like, okay, like we might be able to pull this off. And it's not just like, oh, come on, guys. It's not some idiot just saying like we can win, even though like he's delusional, you know? It's not a delusional player because it's true. Like you can catch up if you're willing to try.
I'm not arguing against you on that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really easy to catch up and to, slingshot the lead back.
Oh no, I'm trying to argue with you the fact that it's there for a reason. You want it to not be as big, but I'm saying like if it wasn't there, the game wouldn't be as entertaining to watch or to play.
Well, that's how Riot is looking at it. Riot is always finding ways to punish the fed player, especially when those reports came out recently with the catch-up EXP.
Tarzan with the
punish the player.
Catch-up XP. Yeah. I mean, I sort of agree with him in a way, but he just takes it to like to an extreme when he talks about it.
Well, Tarzan's toxic, so.
Yeah, it's to an extreme when he talks about like the catch-up XP and all that shit. But are we allowed to cuss on this?
No.
Tone it down. Just tone it down.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. He just takes it to an extreme when he talks about the way it is. But I think we talked about this long enough.
All right.
I think we can talk a little bit.
Let's bring it back, right? Okay, but this is actually better than the original topic that I had planned. Let's look at Overwatch. If you, I know you guys are like big on Overwatch, right? But
I love Overwatch.
I wanted to point out that Overwatch is worse in the sense that like there's no way in competitive that a single player can fight 2 others. There's no, like, for example, a DPS player on the enemy team can never actually play 1v2 against 2 healers simply because of the way the game is made. For example, in bronze, of course, like a DPS can probably kill 2 healers, but in competitive, like it's nearly impossible, and that's because the DPS player is like the best of the best, you know, and he still can't manage to kill these healers simply because of the way the game is made. So, like we're looking at League. Ava is pointing out some really good points on the fact that like you can't carry, but if you look at Overwatch, it's even worse that they force you even more on the team aspect. Because when I was watching competitive, I was watching the Worlds Overwatch. It was 6v6, right? But the second a player on either team dies, you can nearly say it's over unless someone does a miracle ultimate. And like that's really the only way that it ever turns it around. Like you only see an ultimate, and like that's the only way it's gonna happen. Otherwise, if there's no ultimates on the team, like you can already expect a complete wipe.
Well, I think that's just the game itself. I don't think that has anything with the ranking system.
No, like we have to look at like CS:GO, right? Like you can make the play yourself, but in Overwatch, you have to play with your team. You have to play even more with your team.
Yeah, dude,
I guess in this sense, this topic ended up being
shields and shit, right? So you can carry.
Yeah, this topic ended up being more about how these team games are forcing us to play more as a team than what a solo player would want.
Pretty much, that's what a lot of the games are nowadays.
Feels bad.
Sounds like PUBG. Solo carry PUBG.
Solo carry PUBG.
So how do you feel about this? Like how Overwatch and Riot are doing? Is it a good thing that we're working more towards like team dynamic, or is it bad that they're overdoing it?
I think it's a good thing. I was just the only reason why I was nitpicking why it's like the solo carry and everything is because of like the rank system and how solo carrying like isn't a thing anymore. So like it's basically like a flex queue sort of in a way. How am I trying to explain this?
Is that you're saying like Riot only recognizes you as like as a team, not as recognize you as a player?
Yeah, as a good team player. That's when you get up in the rankings, when you're a good team player, like not really a solo carry kind of, like 1v9, because it's not really possible anymore. Because once you die, like the entire lead, you pretty much have to play like a perfect game. You have to make play after play after play after play, and it gets much harder as the game goes on. And like one slip up and the game's over pretty much. So that's like the way the league system is, it doesn't so it doesn't like encourage like
Solo play.
carry, yeah, like solo playing like much. It's called solo queue, but like it's still a team game. But
Well, you have to look at it like that. Like it's still a 5v. At the end of the day,
and I
the
think
game is a 5v5.
I think it'll be a lot better when Riot adds voice comms. That'll be awesome. I think it'll be good for the game because when they add voice comms, it'll be a lot easier to
communicate.
People like to communicate, but like people can tend to
shot call.
No, not shot call. Like people can tend to be less toxic when they
use voices.
Kind of hear your voice. Yeah, when they use your voice instead of like through text, because people can misinterpret what you're trying to tell them through text. It can sound like really toxic sometimes when you just tell them like let's say you just kind of question what he was thinking.
Missing ping.
Yeah, maybe like a missing ping or a question mark, and people tend to take that as BM, but a lot of the time it's just like, okay.
Curious.
Yeah, you're just kind of curious as to what that was, and a lot of people tend to tilt off of like things like that. But like I think voice comms would make it a lot better.
If it's not like Overwatch's voice comm, it could be a good thing because we all know how toxic people can get on Overwatch using the voice comms.
Yeah, I understand that, but like in League, I think it's needed because League has been like
it's more strategy based, and like it's really frustrating when like you want to make an action, right, but like you don't want to type the whole strategy out. And in higher elo, like it's really clear when players are trying to make a play, right? But that's mostly because these players have played like 500 games compared to like someone in lower elo that's only played like 50 or 100. Like those 400 games is a huge gap where like a player just knows like, okay, like I know the play because I've played it. because I've been through the situation. And like if you ask a lower elo player, well, it's just like they're telling you what to do. Because I understand, I've seen it where like some players like understand how to play the game, but they suck at like mechanical level. So like they're trying to help their teammates and to make a play, but like they just don't do it themselves because they don't understand what the shot caller, like the play that's trying to organize them, is trying to say.
I think those are called support mains, Robert.
That's me right here. Anyways, let's go on to the next topic. I feel like we spent enough time on this one. At the end of the day, what do you guys? Well, before we go on, at the end of the day, what do you guys feel about the Q? Okay, the capabilities of carrying, I guess.
The way solo queue is.
Yeah, from what we just talked about right now.
I miss back when you were able to solo carry, but I think it's more healthy for the game when it's more team based. But yeah, that's just kind of like a personal thing for me, because it was a lot easier back in like season 6 when I was a jungle main, and I would just solo carry all the games.
What about you, Jonathan?
I think they should add more tools to give recognition for the better players, a part of the team, a part of the losing team.
Yeah, I agree with
All
that.
right. Let's stick with that. There's like a lot of ways that we can talk about that topic, but let's move on. The new champion just got announced, Ornn, and I was wondering what you guys think about him.
Busted, completely broken. Okay.
I think it's Brom's midget brother.
No,
Well,
I don't really know the damage numbers behind it, but
okay, without looking at damage numbers, it's I guess the biggest thing that we're gonna look at is his passive. You know, like where's the limit? Where does Riot like put his foot down?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I feel like back timing is an important skill in League of Legends, and when you just give a player or a champion.
The champion doesn't have any sustain. This you can obviously tell that Ornn isn't going to have any sustain because of his passive.
Well, maybe not. Because remember when they disabled Riven? When there was like a Riven bug where she could do like a 4-second recall or instant recall back to the fountain. That's a big difference from someone having to wait 8 seconds to recall versus no waiting at all to recall. I mean,
yeah. You're just gonna be auto shoved all the time. Never gonna be able to back. You're gonna end up out of XP, minions, gold, all that stuff. You're just gonna be missing a lot while he's just constantly shoving you under turret and not having to go back. And depending on like what sort of builds people come up with, like if some people like for like sustain,
war mods.
Yeah, like maybe if he has like a lot more
sustain,
like build him with sustain and stuff.
Well, in that case, like you can just play an 80 top against him, and like the Spirit Visage is gonna be useless on him.
But it wouldn't feel rewarding though if you're pushing into the lane onto his tower, because the reason why you would push into a tower so the minion wave can hit the tower and they'll die to it. So the opponent is like back in the fountain, missing out gold and EXP because he's not in range, right? Well, since Ornn can just like buy items with his passive, he doesn't have to recall at all, so he's not gonna miss out any minions at all and die into the tower, which is kind of like that's a huge deal if you think about it.
It's a really big deal.
I guess the biggest thing is that he probably won't be able to forge health pots. I'm pretty sure he won't be able to forge health pots. I'm gonna take that guess.
Yeah, a writer has posted on Twitter that he can only buy items. They won't buy potions at all. They have confirmed that already.
Okay. So he's not gonna have, like I said, it's mostly gonna be about the sustain. You're right, Abe. They still can build it to the point that Ornn has sustain with the Spirit Visage, Warmogs, and other items such as those. But it's going to be I guess it's going to force the top lane and the jungle to play more precisely to pressure him off of the lane and force him to recall. I guess that's the biggest counter to him, that he's going to be forced to recall.
I feel like he's forced to recall. He's gonna feel a lot like a Yorick, I think. where he just sits in a lane, pushes the whole time, doesn't group, doesn't do anything, just kind of fucking
Another
jerks off in the top
another
lane while the rest
Nasus.
of his team, or like another Nasus, yeah, just fucking jerking off in the top lane with the minions. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting.
Okay, let's go with a 1 to 10 rating on Orn. Abe, go first. 1 to 10, how good is he from first impression?
Seeing him, I give him a 10 out of 10. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he's gonna come out really strong. He's gonna come out really strong, I think, because people are not gonna know how to play against him. Like that's the way it is with a lot of champions. You know, besides like,
what about you, Jonathan?
I want to say 7 out of 10. But we still don't know much about him. All we know is like his ability previews is all we know. So I need to get a better idea what his base stats are gonna be, because it looks like they made him into like a bruiser top laner tank. But so it makes you wonder, does he have more stats towards the AD wise bruiser style, or does he have more stats to be like a brain dead tank like a Rammus? So I give it a 7 out of 10.
You can just play him in the bottom lane as support, never have to back, constant roam.
It's not another Poppy.
That's busted. It's busted, dude. Come on. You're just like you're never gonna be able to do anything. This guy's all over the map.
Alright, our next topic is going to be the LoL meta, the League of Legends meta. How do you feel about this right now? We already talked about the solo carry, so I guess we're going to go more in depth onto builds and champion strength at this moment.
So right now, the way the meta is, I believe it's just Maokai, Cho'Gath, first pick, ban if you don't ban him, first pick him, free low, let's go. But they are going to be getting, I believe, some slight nerfs next patch that's coming out. And it was like, right? Yeah.
7.17?
Yeah, they're gonna also be nerfing Cinderhulk, making it not as cheap. I believe it's gonna be like 50 extra gold, but
You already nerfed it before. They're gonna nerf it again? Jesus.
yeah, but it's super cheap. Like it's super cheap.
But it's cheap because they lowered its stats. They're gonna raise the price again.
They're gonna raise the price. It's like a slight, like 50 gold. What is it, like Scuttlecraft?
That could be a lot, dude. 50 gold. 50 gold is an extra. No. 50 gold is an extra camp, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, because I play jungle. I tell you, if they add 50 gold to the Bambi Cinder, making it cost 950, that's making you sit to wait for another camp. Because if you do like a full clear, you're barely gonna get like 900. So say like you do like your red buff, Raptors, blue, they look for a Scuttle, look for a gank, and do like a full rotation. That does a full rotation after doing your buffs and trying to get a gank in. That gives you like 1200 gold. So that's the Bambi Cinder, and that has boots right there. Then we gotta cost 50, then you can't necessarily do that anymore. If you do like a small rotation,
you're good to
yeah, you're still good. You're making it do another camp if you have to wait for 50 extra gold. That's a huge nerf.
I don't think it's that big of a nerf. The wave clear is still really good for the tank junglers, and they still provide a lot of CC and are still pretty unkillable in the like Maokai, Cho'Gath, and just builds the Gargoyle still play. But the other nerf for patch 7.16 were to a lot of the mid laners. A lot of mid laners did get nerfed. I mean, mid lane right now is in a pretty good spot. It's very diverse. Nerf like a lot of the top tier, even some of the low tier, but that was just more focused towards like competitive play. Like they nerfed Syndra, they nerfed her Q damage and stuff like that, and then they also nerfed LeBlanc for her like wave clear.
Yeah, so like we have to consider that it's nearing Worlds. We're like probably 1 or 2 patches away from Worlds. That's why we're talking about the meta, because this is where we're going to play Worlds in. So is it healthy? Because we don't want another pick Darius or lose.
I feel like teams right now they're all revolved around the jungle and the AD carry, especially with Twitch and just being popular right now. I feel like that's what the meta's gonna be in for Worlds. Just focus on first picking the jungler or first picking the AD carry. The other roles, I think they're just fine. They're all diverse, but AD carry and jungle, it's just
So we're
usually
going
the same,
back to, like-
two champs.
So you're thinking that it might go back to like when we had Ashe, Jhin, and Varus?
In a sense, yeah, because right now, like Abe said, the AD carry meta is just like hyper carries, which is like Triss and Tristana right now.
Yeah, because as it is, we either pick our mid laner in the first pick, or we're gonna pick him in the last pick. And considering that how diverse mid lane has been in competitive play, we can probably expect to see a lot of different picks in this meta.
Just hope Riot doesn't go crazy and fucks up the meta like completely, like right before Worlds, like they did like the past 2 years, which was but like right now I feel like the meta is really boring. Like falling asleep, dude. It's just like pick me a tank and we'll fucking win. Like they don't have any tanks, it's over. They have a fucking emo top, an assassin in the jungle, fucking regular standard bottom lane, mid lane, but they don't have any tanks, so we just auto win.
But it's always been like that. So you need at least one tank. Where it's recommended that you have one tank, but you don't always get that tank. Yeah.
Yeah, but like sometimes it's just like it just feels kind of dumb that you have to first pick these like tanks. I don't know. It just felt a lot better the patch before they buffs Bomby Cinder and all that, and they made the tank meta a thing. It just felt a lot better. It felt like you could play anything, and you can play split push, you can play hard engage, peel, poke. Like you can't play a lot of the different styles right now, because right now it's just basically full on 5-on-5, or maybe you can get like a split pusher. It's really boring right now, I think.
But you couldn't play tanks back then. That's the thing. That's the dilemma. You couldn't play tanks back then before they reduced the cost of Bambi Cinder. So you can't have one without the other.
I just feel like there's always a tank meta every season.
Oh,
there's always
a
time
tank
when,
meta.
there's always a time when tanks are just busted, like super busted. It's just
Oh,
it doesn't.
you either have a super busted tank or you have a bunch of carries running around murdering everybody.
No, dude, you have a few carries that you can pick tanks into and just hard CC them before they can do anything.
Like a Vayne.
Normally you can like pick based on what the enemy picks. Like, oh, they have I don't know, fucking a split push comp. Okay, let's pick hard engage. Or oh, they have pokes, so we want to pick hard engage as well. It's pretty much like just 5-on-5 all the time. I don't know. I just don't like the meta right now. Doesn't feel very.
Oh, like you're being very
Yeah, I know.
selfish, man. Come on.
Talk about it, but like, I don't think anybody really enjoys the meta right now. Like,
I enjoy the
meta.
meta.
Yeah, enjoy it. Yeah, dude. Dude, you gotta name tanks, dude, and you join the meta.
Okay, alright. Fair enough.
You gotta enjoy killing tanks as an AD carry as well.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's fun.
Like, people hate playing against tanks as an AD carry, but I love it because when you get to like mid game or you get to late game and you're shredding tanks, dude, that feels beautiful, dude. Because tanks are running away from you.
You sound like a liar.
Yeah, of course. Like, eventually you'll get enough, armor pen and all the items and all that, but like, AD carry right now is like, if you fall behind as an AD carry, like you have to wait for that 5 to 6 item spike before you can actually be useful to the team, and that's why people are playing a lot of hyper carries. So that way when they get the ball rolling, they just run over the enemy team. But
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy being like an AD carrier, or like fighting AD carriers and stuff like that. I really enjoy the meta right now.
I don't know.
Preference. My preference. Okay, I feel like we explained the meta to a certain extent. So
Wait, dude, we didn't even talk about the ancient coin supports. What do you mean? You forgot to talk about the supports, dude.
All we gotta talk about is that support items are all garbage.
Ardent Sensor Rush. The Ardent Sensor Rush, what do you mean? Just build Ardent Sensor, just fucking the E-girls all playing Janna and no, dude, I think that champion's pretty cancer right now.
Janna's always been a problem. Janna's always been annoying. It's like, as long as she has that AD buff of her shield, she's always gonna be annoying. She's always gonna be picked.
Yeah, but like, I guess it is kind of easy to like.
It's a point and click.
It's a kid issue. It's like the same issue.
Make it a skill shot, and then it's fair.
That's not what I'm trying to say. Like it is easy to counter them. I'll just pick a Blitzcrank or pick a Thresh or someone who can like catch them out. But it kind of forces you to play a certain way. You know, like always have to. You know, we have to kill this Janna or we have to kill this Soraka or we're not gonna kill anybody.
But don't be a meta slave, dude. Come on.
Yeah, dude. Follow the meta, dude. Play what you want. Do what your heart desires.
Why do I feel like you guys are against me right now?
It's because like you hate the meta, but I personally enjoy the game. It might be that you're playing too much solo queue right now.
What do you enjoy about the meta, Robert? Tell me. I want to know. What do you guys enjoy so much about like the way the meta is right now?
Well, staying on topic when you're talking about like support items, I think just the problem with supports right now is that the only good support item, starting support item, is the ancient coin. So because you get more gold income and the quest is more easier to complete and it's more rewarding, versus the blue one, I forgot the name, and
Targon.
Targon's the second tier, I think. But yeah, say like the other two ones, Relic Shield. Dude, those are garbage right now compared to Ancient Coin because they have a less rate of gold income.
Jonathan is right. Ancient Coin isn't busted. Every other support item is stupid.
No, it's busted. Like you get like 40 gold. What is that? Like a siege minion every like 10 seconds.
No. Even then, no support is like getting more gold than anyone else.
What?
Like the support are getting gold.
No. You're in. Okay, so Ancient Coin, what you do right now is you rush the second part of it. What is it, like Nomads?
Yeah, Nomads Medallion.
Nomads. Once you get Nomads, like you get so much gold from Nomads plus the passive gold plus your mastery. It's a lot of passive gold that you get, and then plus the little mini game or whatever. But like that's not really.
Well, it's meant to give them gold because they're really when you play support, you're already down 800 gold because you're pretty much forced to buy Sightstone if you want to win the game.
That's why they make the support item so cheap.
If they made it so cheap, then why would they nerf it?
They're not like as much as like a Rabadon or like an Infinity Edge, and or like anything like that. Like they're really cheap items, you know. So when I understand that supports don't get as much gold as carries, but that's because their items are like a lot cheaper to buy. So when you give them like a big gold income, they get a lot of items, and it's
but regardless, no mid laner like top laner is building it.
Yeah,
I think they're not.
Ancient Coin.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's garbage.
Exactly.
There you go.
It's an issue. No, it's an issue if like you start having Doran Shield on every laner. Remember when we were having Doran Shield on AD carry and mid lane? That was an issue. When everybody is buying an item, it's an issue. Not everybody is buying the coin.
Well, I mean, like when you have to buy coin on like unconventional supports, then it's a problem. You know, like when
Okay,
you're buying coin on
it's a problem to that
Kench
sense, but it
or
still goes
Em.
back
But I
to
wouldn't
saying
say the item is a
It
problem. I just say
still
the other
goes
two
back to
items.
the problem of other items.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Other items are the problem.
Relic Shield and Spell Thief, so those are just weak right now compared to Ancient Coin.
Yeah,
Well,
fix
to be
this
fair,
shit.
okay, so to be fair, the next patch they're gonna end up nerfing Ancient Coin. I don't know the numbers. I forgot the numbers though, but they are gonna be nerfing it.
I feel like I'll still buy it
They're
because
not gonna
just
touch
like
the other items.
if I'm not gonna buff the other two, I feel like I'll still
don't know.
buy Ancient Coin.
I don't know. We'll see how.
We'll see how it plays out,
does.
how they do in Worlds.
Okay.
We'll see how it
We
plays out.
went
but-
back to this topic for another 10 minutes because of Ancient Coin. Let's move on. We're going to the next topic is again before I move on, let's rate the meta. Right now, what do you rate the meta, Abe? 1 to 10.
Dude, I give it like a.
Put a 1, dude.
I think it's fine. Like I don't mind it. I just don't enjoy it.
Give a number.
It's not fun for me. Yeah, so I give it like a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
All right.
5
What
out of
about
10.
you, Jonathan?
I give it a 6.5.
Oh, I thought you
Alright,
enjoyed it way more
I
than
don't
I
think
did.
we do 6.5.
6.5.
I don't think we
Um,
do 6.5 either.
You're saying that you love this meta.
Alright.
It's awesome.
Alright, I give it
High
a
rated.
I give it a 7 then. If you can't do half points, I'll give it a
Okay.
7.
No half points. All right, we're gonna go 7 out of 10 and 5 out of 10. Now to the next topic. It's going to be the repetitive MVP. So a lot of people dislike this, and it goes back to something else that we had talked about previously. Well, not in this cast, but separately, where we mentioned that it gets repetitive when you always watch the same team win. Like at this point, we're already expecting TSM in the finals, but it's more of like that we don't like watching the same thing. I'm a huge TSM fan, but regardless, I sometimes would rather see someone else or see a new champion, a different experience.
What a fake fan.
Well, that's just because that's their expectation.
Yeah, they're expected to go to
TSM,
Worlds.
They're expected to.
So it's
be in
yeah,
the
so it's not as exciting, you know.
They've been
No, no,
there
no.
every year.
Like,
But I understand what you're saying. How you don't like how it's always.
I wanted to
same
mention that
teams,
the views in season 6 and season 7, they went down. I feel like the reason for that is because it's becoming repetitive. You know who's gonna win.
What?
Like the leaderboards aren't messing around. Remember that when TSM was struggling, everything was crazy and everybody loved it because TSM was struggling, and you'd actually tune in every weekend and be like, oh, I'm gonna watch something new, or I might watch TSM do a comeback. People love those stories, you know. If you see Team Liquid get 4th place, you're watching the game to watch Team Liquid get 4th place. And now watching Team Liquid be last place, you're not gonna watch Team Liquid's games because they're now 4th.
I mean, well,
Stuff like
but
that.
who's at fault then? Is it Riot or is it the teams at fault?
I think it's the team's issues, not improving. You have TSM always being at the top, and it's not like they're doing something secret or something different. Other teams just aren't able to coach. You can say, oh, they have superstar level, but I mean, you have a bunch of Korean imports on top lane, and no one's really giving that much of an issue to Hunter as much as we thought he would have an issue with them.
There's just not a lot of to be fair, there's not a lot of talent here in NA, you know. That's why
Biofrost.
there's all these Korean imports and everything.
Biofrost.
There's more he's Canadian.
Wait, is he?
That's NA, right?
But that's still in the NA region, you know.
Yeah, it's still NA. But what I'm trying to say is for.
No, but I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to say talent is the issue, right? Because you have to consider that the biggest uh,
Technical difficulties.
technical issues. Um, So what I wanted to say is that we have to consider that the biggest drama that we've had this season is the fact that Xmithy did good in Immortals, or that like Dardoch didn't end up being like in CLG. That's like the biggest news this season because there wasn't any like team that was popping off. There wasn't any team that was like changed or like did a huge like gap change or anything.
Wait,
It's
wait.
kind
What
of like
about
an acceptable-
Dignitas? What about Dignitas here? That's yeah.
Dignitas, okay, I'm sorry. Dignitas did improve, but they didn't improve to the point that they made it like, wow, like Dignitas did like exceptionally. I can agree. Dignitas did improve at the second half of the season. And I can also say that C9 didn't perform that well, and that they ended up in the middle of the leaderboards while they usually end up in the top 3. There's those things, but it's one of those things where like C9, you kind of expect them to still get to the finals, or you kind of expect them to still end up pretty far in the bracket and the playoffs.
Okay, so right now, like I understand where you're coming from and how it was different back then, where there wasn't a lot of competition, but this split, there's a lot of competition, and they're not even like from first through 6, like any of them can take a game off each other. Besides maybe Envy because they were looking a little shaky at the end when they had to face off against all the top teams. But I mean, Immortals is tied with TSM. C9 and CLG are tied. They're like only like what, one game apart. So like it's not like TSM is the clear favorite to take the finals. It's just they're expected to
Oh
be there
no, like
because-
I'm not trying to say that either. I'm just trying to say that there wasn't any team that like really changed from what they were last season. Because last season, like if you look at the last season standings and when you look at this season standings, you really don't see that big of a difference.
I mean,
It's always gonna be like that. That's why you pay attention more to the bottom tier teams.
I think it's a big difference actually, because Envy was like a bottom tier team, and now they're in playoffs. Dig was Dig a bottom tier team, I believe they were.
Yeah, they were in the playoffs. Yeah. They
Okay, well they did improve. And
Did they get fourth place actually? Wait, no, Dignitas got fourth place last season.
yeah, the spring split.
No, wasn't that
Well, like split. My bad. I didn't mean to say season. I meant to say split.
We're not seasons yet.
P1. Oh yeah, it was Flycus versus P1. You're right.
I remember 3rd and 4th, but and then Immortals went from 7th place all the way to 2nd. Like there's a lot of improvement.
That was last year though.
Well, yeah, but still, like there's a lot of improvement, I think.
Yeah, you just gotta look at the roster swaps.
Yeah, like the Xmithy for Dardoch, and Dardoch not being able to find a team. Dardoch's back on TL. All the Dardoch swaps.
Okay, regardless of team standing, then we also have to look at the MVP. The MVP for 2 splits, it was like almost the whole team of TSM, right? And like I can understand that like it's hard to put anyone else other than TSM, right? Because they were winning, so it's hard to say like someone's better than. No, like it's hard to say that there's someone better. No, like Lyra was the only member that joined the All-Star team of last split of the spring split.
You mean the OP5?
Yeah, the OP5.
Well, the OP5 actually contained like what?
Four TSM players and Lyra.
No, it didn't. For this spring?
No, last split. The last split.
Okay, no, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this.
Talking about summer, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about summer, dude.
I'm talking about. No, okay, like so the the All-Star team for this split is probably going to be TSM. Like there will at least be 3 players of TSM on the All-Star team of this split.
For this split, I already saw the OP5. It was Jensen, Hanser.
No. Those are the players of the game. That's different.
No.
Yeah.
It was OP5. It was Olay, Xmithy, Jensen, Hanser, and Double Lift. That's the OP5. Does that not sound like a broken team to you? Come on, OP5. playing it right now.
Well,
Being Jensen.
we have to
Olea's,
look
like,
at the
playing insane. Smith, he's
we
playing
have
out
to
of his
look
mind.
Look at it.
Monster, there's just not that much competition.
Oh, boy.
There isn't. Like,
We have
who's Flame maybe.
Someday.
Flame could maybe contest that spot, but Someday's not playing very good.
God, come on.
Like amazing.
He has 8
Not
Player of
to
the
where,
Game
like,
awards.
Okay.
we have to look at how people want to make the argument between Bjergsen and Jensen. Look at that as well.
Are there,
That's just because the only reason why Bjergsen is still considered to be a candidate is because he's been consistent.
yeah.
And like it's not that he's better than Jensen right now. I feel like Jensen, if they were to the edge, it's just that
Why?
Bjergsen
Why would he
has
have
been
the edge? You're just gonna say that and not explain yourself?
Well, I mean, like I thought it was obvious. Like he has like some of the best stats in the league. Like he's first in
No, like I
CSD,
saw his
damage
KDA.
per
Like
minute,
KDA, like
KP.
there's a
His
huge
KDA was
like
second.
he hasn't even died. He hasn't
Yeah.
even died in like the past 4 games. But that also has to
Super
consider with play style. No, it was
Well, yeah,
Jensen.
like-
I think Jensen hadn't died for like a lot of games.
But yeah, but like that's because he's like one of like the main win conditions for C9, and they play like really well around him. It's kind of like old TSM when old TSM would play around Bjergsen, and he was like popping off all the time because like they would around him and play around him. He was like their win condition. That's what like C9 is starting to play like right now. They kind of leave like the way old TSM would leave like Dyrus to go die or whatever.
First
like,
blood Dyrus.
the like fucking Dyrus dies by himself, but he ends up like still contributing to the team. That's what like C9's doing right now, but they're doing a better job of it because Impact.
I don't know,
is
man.
starting
They're not in top 3 though.
Who?
Who?
C9?
C9
But
is in top 3.
they're tied for 3rd place with CLG. It's just CLG has the head-to-head, so they got 3rd instead of C9.
But like, okay, there you go.
But
Like
again, they're only a 1 game difference. So
you're a
like,
C9 fan, dude. You can't give me this.
I know. But, like, you're trying to like talk to me at like why Jensen is better than Bjergsen right now.
I'm
And
asking you,
telling
like, I want. You're telling me, but you're telling me based on like a team style, you know?
Well, yeah.
Like,
But like, I was also telling you that like Jensen's stats are better than a lot of the mid laners in the league. Like,
but it's like me saying B tier
Versus
double
behind
F, dude.
no, but that was like based on like the current week that they were, like when they made those stupid
Tier list.
those meme lists.
Rivington's tier list, dude.
Tier list. They made it like first 4 weeks or whatever, but like Jensen's performance has been really good all through the split.
So you're saying your MVP vote is for Jensen?
I'm not saying that it's for Jensen. I'm saying that he was asking me earlier why Jensen is better than Bjergsen. And I was telling him why, because he has better stats, and his team plays. And Bjergsen is more consistent as a mid laner, and he kind of like, if he needs to, he can play that supportive style. But Jensen kind of has to hard carry all the time. That's why his stats are so good compared to like Bjergsen's and all that. But I'm saying that's why Bjergsen is like always an MVP candidate.
Well, okay.
So-
Well, the regular season matches just ended for the split. So if you had to decide who would be your MVP for the summer split,
Well, okay, but you're asking the wrong people because I'm a TSM fan and like you already know what I'm gonna say, and Abe is a C9 fan, so you
Well, I
already know what
mean,
he's gonna
like-
say.
no, like
The
just
best
be
question would be
unbiased.
Jensen.
No, okay.
Unbiased.
Yeah.
Unbiasedly, I feel like I'm not sure actually. If I was to be unbiased about the whole thing, like I would still want to say Jensen, but like at the
Like
same
I
time,
can't
wanna
agree
say-
with you because it's you're basing
No,
it
no.
solely on stats, and like I don't want to like just say like because
Well,
you're
it's
you're
not
also
just stats,
contradicting it.
it's always
not
gonna be
just-
about
it's not
stats.
just- It's not just stats though, because like he he does perform well. The only thing is he's not consistent. That's the only thing that's kind of holding me back from like making him like the
If you're
number
okay, if
one
you were gonna
clear.
go on MVP, like most valuable player, but I wouldn't say of the split of the team, I would say Jensen is more valuable to C9 than Beerus is valuable to TSM.
Okay, well, then
right?
you bring up the
So-
argument there. That's a lot. That's what some people
Most
have an argument on the
valuable
MVP.
player
Yeah,
based on the team, like what he is to the team. That's what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
what MVP is.
but see, people don't
Based
look at the
on-
MVP that way though. People
Well,
they argue
MVP
about it,
should
but
be
they,
no. It should be MVP based on the whole all of the teams. If you were to put this player in any team, how would he do? And like the truth is that both of these players are so well rounded that no matter which team you put them on, they'd still do that. They'd still perform as good as they're performing right
well, you need to put an asterisk on it next to the MVP title because because people they're always gonna look at the MVP on who is the best player, no matter what team they're on. Versus, so say like Olay is really contributing a lot for Immortals. So saying because Olay is good, it's making Immortals win all these games, so he should be MVP because he's making Immortals look good. That's one of the arguments people have on the MVP vote, but they usually don't vote based on that. They usually vote on who is the best player performing throughout the whole entire split, throughout the entire season. Like for example, during last year's NBA MVP vote, not the 2016-2017 season. Talk about the 2015-2016. There was a small controversy over Steph Curry getting MVP vote over LeBron James, simply because LeBron James himself saying MVP vote shouldn't go to whoever the best player is. It should go to the player that contributes a lot to the team, and that sparked some controversy of saying like he's being salty.
in
or
that sense, like you could vote for Lyra and like because he's carrying Envy and like he could be MVP.
yeah, but no one's gonna vote for
instead of,
Lyra.
like-
That's the thing. No one's gonna because
Well, I mean,
Okay.
like,
If you were to look at all of TSM, none of them would get MVP because they're probably more of a team than most other teams.
Well-
That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that's uncalled for because you should be voting for who's the best player.
okay. Remember when Arrow got MVP for the spring split? How much backlash he received because everybody wanted Haunter to get it.
Okay, he carried his team, but I still didn't like that he got the MVP because he did like MVP as it's designed. It should be to the most valuable player in the league, as in like the best player in the
Well,
league.
that's how it is. That's how it's designed around. But some people want
well,
like an
Arrow
asterisk.
wasn't the best player in the league. He
What's
was
your-
simply the most.
That's why
useful
people
one.
got salty about it.
so what you're saying, the best player in the league being Jensen right now, the best player in the league, Jensen. Okay.
I mean that.
no, but seriously,
See you at the
right
playoffs.
now- no, but seriously, aside because it's not like again, I'm gonna look at what you mentioned earlier about Immortals. If you look at Immortals, everybody on the team is performing. They're all pulling out, having to pick up slack. So, like, if they're all performing well, it's really hard to say that they have an MVP on their team. You know what I mean?
It's
Like, because it's hard. Like, you can say Smithy, or Lay, or even Flame. Like any of them really well. Like they've all carried, respectively. Cody Sun's carried, Paul Belter's carried. Like they've all carried some games on like consistency and all that. I would have to give it to like Olay because I think he's been really consistent all split.
I think because
But-
also if you need like a staple, you don't have like a staple to your name. That's gonna be a consideration on the MVP vote. Because you think of Bjergsen, you think Bjergsen because he's Bjergsen, right? You think of Jensen, Jensen because he's Jensen. Because like it's hard to be a newcomer and have an MVP
I
consideration.
mean, come on, like Mike Young.
Well,
Look, he's a rookie, all right.
Yeah, like
Rookie
Mike
of the
Young,
split,
you could
Mike
give him the
Young.
MVP, but he hasn't been consistent.
Yeah, so it's based on consistency, and even when teams are losing games, that player has to still be
Like popping off,
consistent.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like Jensen has been all split. even when they were losing games, even when they had barely above a 500 average in games, they would still win games, but they wouldn't win the series, just because right, like at the
All right.
time.
Talked
Top
about this for a good amount. We have to move on.
Okay,
I
wait,
love it.
Can we decide on like?
Okay,
Can we
we're
have our
gonna. Each
little
one of us is
MVP
gonna
vote?
have an MVP vote.
All right.
All right.
Okay. give me your MVP
Dude,
vote, Abe.
Just give me Jensen, dude.
Good
Like
Jensen.
any day.
All right, what about you, Robert? What will be your MVP vote?
I would have to say, double lift.
Double lift. Wait,
double lift?
explain,
Hold on,
sir.
explain this one. Okay.
This is out of nowhere.
What is
Spent
he-
too long on this topic. You honestly spent too long on this topic. Jonathan, you have to say vote for an MVP.
All right, you gotta make me. You gotta ask me to explain. I'm gonna go with my vote to someday. So
Okay, I don't know. We can talk about this.
Someday.
I'm gonna give it a
Wait,
someday.
We'll figure
Here,
it out
but
someday.
Someday we'll figure it out. Someday.
hey, we'll figure this out.
We'll figure this out someday.
Okay.
Okay, our next topic is going to be EU franchising, which they don't have it. So that's
Franchise.
They don't have it.
EU franchise or because I know.
Oh.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Oh, EU is not
So,
franchise.
so let me,
Not yet.
Let me explain this topic. So NA decided a franchise, and it was a pay-in of $5 million. And the issue is that about 100 teams signed up to join the NA franchise. The issue is that clearly
Any over
some
EU.
some teams from EU signed up into the NA, so as well as the Chinese team. So the issue is that some EU teams were willing to drop their 3 of their players in the roster simply to assure themselves of having a franchise in NA.
Okay, what I was talking about.
It's because it seems like you guys are gonna say something. So what's how should Riot look at this? Why is EU trying to move to NA when they're already stable in EU?
It's just to escape the relegations, really. If you want to build a brand, build a legitimate franchise, you can't really do that necessarily when there's a relegation into the system. Like, I know there's some soccer teams that do it when they're in the A tier, because that's how soccer is. There's always A tier, B tier, C tier, and there's always been relegations. But there hasn't been really an issue because those are already established franchises, established football clubs. They have the money, they have the resources to keep themselves afloat. Esports teams necessarily don't. At this stage, at this early stage of esports being a thing, they don't have that amount of resources to buy free agents or import people in to help carry the team to avoid relegations. That's what Team Liquid did last year and last spring split. Taking that worry away from relegations, it's just gonna take off less stress and it's gonna add more sponsorships, because that means people are gonna invest into teams now and gonna sponsor without having to worry that they're gonna lose branding name or lose what's the word, public viewership on their own brand simply because they get relegated. Not to worry about that no more. They know legitimate this franchise is here to stay and it's not gonna go anywhere, and their sponsored logo is gonna stay there forever, which is also a reason why teams will want to get into the franchise league, simply because it's a more guaranteed way to have more money be invested into your franchise.
Yeah, and on top of that, players are also gonna. I think a lot of players are gonna really enjoy the defranchising system because it gives them a career to go into. It'll be a lot more stable, and it'll be a better career path for more people to look into. And with their in time, more NA talent will come out and who legitimately see what do you call it? Being a pro as a legit career, and they can go.
Well,
They can go,
okay,
they can,
we have to talk
invest
about
in
this in the sense
exactly.
that how like our society has accepted to the sense of like when someone wants to go pro as a football player, NFL. I'm talking about like U.S. football. When when a player wants to go pro in the NFL, there's still that like margin where like it's far. Like you consider it like as an option, but it's one of those things where like you still are fully aware that like
The risk.
The risks.
like the huge risk of not getting actually signed by a team.
Well, at least there's more ways to get recognized in American football, simply because there's a high school football system, there's a college football system that can give you scholarship to get free like access or free membership. I don't even want to call it membership to a college, so you can get your studies done while still playing college football, while potentially being scouted by NFL teams. So it's more easier that way, but it's not easier for esports.
Yeah, because you have to kind of fully commit in esports, and it's a lot scarier. But in when a lot more people like a lot more colleges and stuff like that offer more scholarships for it, and people won't have to be as like worried for their future, it'll be a lot better. And on top of that, like viewership as well, like it'll grow, like it'll grow a lot, because like there's gonna be a lot more people who have like let's say what was let's talk about a team that just got relegated. Like Renegades, like
Giants Gaming from European.
Renegades,
whatever,
dude, come
Giants
on.
Gaming, whatever. Any of those
They were
teams,
bad.
Let's say you have yeah. Let's say they were what do you call it? Let's say you were a fan of Renegades or whatever for whatever reason.
Not Renegades, dude. They got banned, dude.
Okay, we can talk about Giants Gaming. They're a team that was
Giants
they
Gaming.
were
Giants
a well-known team that got relegated.
Okay, what about
Origin got relegated as well.
okay,
Yeah,
well,
mixed
any
spectator.
team that got relegated, let's say you're a fan of them and they end up getting relegated, like what are you supposed to do? Like you don't really enjoy the game as much anymore. Like you don't enjoy watching it as much as aren't. Like your favorite team or whatever isn't, like the team you're rooting for. Like if C9 wasn't to, let's say like just by chance, like they get relegated or whatever, they lose a lot of fans stop watching esports and lose interest in the pro aspect of it,
Yeah, that's how I felt when during the
esports
split.
aspect of it. Oh, when Dig got
Yeah, that's how I felt when they got relegated.
Dignitas spotted.
Yeah.
They didn't even play for it, dude. They
Okay.
just spot in.
Okay, Dignitas spot was bought in by Apex Gaming. The Apex Gaming, they had that spot for Dignitas, and then later on, Dignitas bought Apex Gaming itself. Like, cause they got like a huge investment, which helped them make the purchase or the spot swap. That's how Dignitas came back in, but they did not.
Yeah.
But they were relegated. They were out. They were kicked out for a split. And during that
They got relegated.
during that split,
relegated.
dude, I know, dude. Come on. And during that split, Dignitas was playing. I did take a hit in my interest in watching esports. I was like confused. Like Dignitas is gone. Who the hell do I watch now?
What do I watch? Yeah. So exactly, like franchising makes it a lot more consistent for fans, and it'll be a lot better. It'll be a lot healthier for people to watch esports, and eventually, I think it'll make its way onto national television.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one.
Yeah, eventually, maybe in like 5 years' time or something, when it's.
I think it's a lot closer.
That's
I
5 years
honestly think it's a lot
optimistic.
closer.
Well, they already are like showing. They're showing CS:GO on national television already, so it's getting there.
They're showing esport. There's no worlds.
They sometimes show like the Smash and the fucking and Melee. They also show like Street Fighter also tournaments sometimes on ESPN.
Oh yeah, and then I believe Disney invested into League, right?
But yeah,
They invested
yeah,
$200 million into the
Well,
league.
one of the like not like directly like Disney invested into League. It was like some investor that was a part of Disney invested into League or whatever.
that's why the memes
No,
came out.
That's Phoenix One.
I know.
No, that's Phoenix One.
I know a lot of A teams are really into the esports and they're buying into all the hype and they think it's gonna blow up. So I think that's good.
Okay, let me
Whenever-
explain the Disney, right?
Disney.
There is a Disney investment into Team Liquid. There's Disney investment into LCS specifically, and the CEO for Phoenix One was a part of Disney. So those are the three things.
It's because they signed Mickey, so they have Mickey Mouse in the mid lane for Team Liquid. That's why Disney invested.
Oh my god.
Right. Let's. I think we talked.
Talking to us about this
Okay.
topic.
So feels like a decent amount that we talked about this. There really isn't much about it other than like the fact that
E's dead.
the viewership, right? EU is dead. Right? So the next topic being it was the last game of the NALCS split, the summer split, where it was CLG versus TSM, and the issue became that if CLG lost, if CLG won, they had worse chances of going to Worlds because of it. So how does Riot's point system fail? Like there's like an issue here.
Well, maybe it'll change because you know they still have summer splits, so there's still points. They still got 2 splits because you have the point system in the spring split. They need that point system for the spring split. Other than spring doesn't even matter at all. Maybe maybe the scheduling will be different for when they do franchising. Maybe they just get rid of 2 splits and just add 1 long season to the League of Legends NA League. Maybe that's what they could do. It's just like a simple hot fix. Because like they can't really change the point system. If they do change the point system, how are they gonna make spring split relevant? They just can't.
I'm not blaming the point system. I guess it would be the playoff bracket, because if CLG got in 4th place or 3rd, I guess they did end up in 4th place in this case. If they got 4th place, they don't have to play against TSM in the second round, and now they'll have to play against Immortals. But like that's still an easier opponent. If you would have gotten 3rd place, you would have had to play against TSM, and like that would have been an issue because like they're the harder contenders. If you get 2nd place in the summer finals, then like you're set for Worlds regardless if you won or not.
Well, that still also goes into whatever position you end up, or whatever place you end after the playoffs. It still affects how you're seeded into the Worlds group. So I don't think necessarily it's like a bit pointless once you already got the points generated. If you're already gonna go to Worlds or not, you're still gonna want to fight for whatever seed you get from the Worlds group stages.
I personally think that CLG tried in their games. It kind of like didn't look that way in the first game, but in the second game it kind of did because it was like a 50-minute game. But it's things like those where like you kind of don't know if this team is trying. That bothered, like it bothered me that I was like, well, did CLG try? I mean, like they have better chances if they don't.
So right now, what you're talking about is the point system, right?
Yeah, the point system made it so that like if CLG gets 2nd place, they end up getting more points than C9 in 2nd place of the playoffs. So they end up getting more points at C9, and so they officially would take the 2nd seed.
So you're saying, if they didn't win against TSM, they get enough points to go to Worlds, right?
That's considering that they would get to the finals.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Because.
But so you're talking about when they faced off in the finals, right?
like
TSM.
he's talking about like
Yeah,
it's about
no.
the last game of the regular season. It was TSM versus CLG.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. That just kind of feels like a rare case of maybe like
Seems like it was nearly impossible to happen, right?
yeah, like it feels like something that just kind of like they flubbed whatever, where it's just like, is it scripted?
Is it scripted? The long question finally answered.
Okay, well, in the end, we have to say, will Riot make improvements? Will they change the system?
Well, they're gonna make some changes since they're franchising. It's gonna be expected. So we just can't really get a good guess on what it's gonna be.
Oh, okay, no, but that's going based on franchising. I'm talking about the point system. Will it be changed?
Well,
Like, so will there be a tweak on it because of this scenario?
that's again saying like if there's gonna be a tweak on it, it's gonna be part of when they franchise. Like,
Yeah, they like rebrand the whole esports and how they have the
yeah,
team.
they're probably gonna change up the scheduling if anything.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the next point. Well, I'm gonna go to a point that I didn't write down here, but it's going to happen this weekend, where the challenger teams are still going to play against the bottom LCS teams, and it's more of a question of like, why is Riot doing this when it doesn't matter? That's my question to you guys.
Well, it wasn't there like a tournament? Wasn't like a prize money if the challenger team won that they get like a discount to buy into the franchise league? Was that what you mentioned before?
Don't know.
You mentioned that to me.
I don't remember.
I mean, even if they get nothing out of it, like or like whatever, like a discount or whatever you're talking about, I have no idea. But
Do you think it makes them? They're just doing it to look good.
it's good. It's good for the players. That way they can
They're getting their names out
show
there. Yeah.
they can show what they're made of.
Yeah.
And
No,
maybe-
I'm not
maybe the
saying it for the Challenger Series. The Challenger Series, I mean, it's good because they get to play against an LCS team. But it's more of a question of like, why are they forcing these LCS teams to get like shamed? You know, like to get made
Shamed.
fun of if they lose to these Challenger teams. Because like the scenario could be they lose to the Challenger teams and then they still stay in the LCS because of the franchising, right?
Well, they
So then
don't.
they get mocked.
They don't. They don't have to
Because
get.
they lost
They
the
don't get
challenge.
mocked for it. They can just say FF, and then they never have to do the match. They just automatically forfeit the game. It's really pointless.
The matches are going to be this weekend.
I don't think that it's Riot's fault for that. I think it's the team.
Yeah, say the team sucks. Well, then it's their own fault that they suck.
Yeah, it's more so their own fault for not performing well in this in split.
I can understand that. I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's not really Riot's fault.
It's Steve's
The
fault.
teams know what they're in for. They know what they're in for.
They know what they signed up.
It was.
They have to play the game.
Contract, dude. It was part of the contract every fucking split. If you don't perform, you're gonna get relegated. That's the way it is.
It's the game where you get fined.
Or you get.
Alright, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, the next topic, the second to last topic, is the World's hype and how Riot provides this hype every year. And I guess in the sense, like the real question is, what do you expect every year from Riot's hyping up Worlds?
Bringing in a big name.
Yeah.
That's what they do pretty much every world.
So they always
Dragon, Zed. I mean, the Zed one wasn't as big. They bring in.
They had Nikki Taylor during like season 5, but she wasn't that big of a name. Nikki
Terrible.
Taylor was a
It
streamer.
sucked. No one listened to it, dude. No one even like listened to it. No one ever said like, "Hey, have you heard this song by Nikki Taylor?" No one cared.
Well, I mean,
No.
they had to listen to it. 'Cause it's supposed to be like the song for Worlds, so they're gonna listen to it.
They put it in Worlds, but no one was like, "Wow, this song is like amazing," or like no
Okay,
one said that.
okay. Remember
I can
when
understand that
Zed? Remember when?
people said that it was because of Imagine Dragons had come the year before, but if you hear the song now, there's still no hype that you feel when you listen.
Okay,
to the song.
remember when Zed's song first came out with Ignite? People didn't like it at first, but later on grew onto them. You know, and like you just
I
gotta.
don't know what you're talking about. I
Wait.
fucking loved it. I loved it from the
No,
moment
people-
I saw it, and then I looked at the comments, and that's when it got ruined for me because I loved it so much. And then I looked at the comments, and everybody was bashing it, and I was like, "Why are we bashing?"
They
this song?
they
This
bash
is
it, but
good."
they later grew onto them. It's like
I think it was a crowd thing, you know, where like someone starts it and everybody's like, "You know what, you're right, man, like it sucks," and like later on everybody's like, "Wait, no it doesn't," like calm down. I think it was a circle jerk. I think it really was just a circle jerk.
circle jerk.
I think it was more so the performances Zed put on.
Well, no, even before Zed did the live performance at the
Yeah, that's what
Worlds.
I'm talking about. At Worlds, live performance, it wasn't as good as a lot of the other ones. It was legit him sitting in the middle.
But that's a DJ.
No.
That's a DJ for
Yeah,
you.
that's a DJ.
They press a button and
I
then music.
okay. I
It's
don't
not-
even like DJs, and I expected that, and I was like, I'm not even disappointed because I expected nothing.
Yeah, I know, but like a lot of people, they expect, like it's something they look forward to every year,
A
and
theatrical
I'd
event.
always bring something big, but they get Zed. That's why a lot of people didn't like it, but I still think the animation was really great. That's what like really brought people back.
But
It's like for the song was really good.
yeah, are you talking about the live performance? Or you're talking about the song release or the song pick for the Worlds?
Talking about as to why people got disappointed was for the performance.
Oh, okay, but I'm talking about like hype that like
Yeah,
startup
because
by
the
Riot,
song was
like,
released way
leading
before
up
the
to
live
Worlds.
performance.
Yeah, I know it got released way before. It's just like I don't know. I feel like the performance just kind of didn't do it for me, dude. When I watched it,
So,
it didn't do it.
That dissuade you from watching the finals?
Yeah, I didn't even watch the finals. I don't think I did.
You didn't watch the finals?
I don't think I did. I was just like, SKT's gonna win. Like,
What do you mean? They fucking took a game
What a
off of
guy.
SK at the very
What
end.
a guy.
Dude, it was intense. That was the most intense finals. What are you talking about? You actually
I was
didn't
there.
watch
I
it?
was there, guys.
It
I
was.
watched it late. I didn't watch it live. Alright.
Wow, you missed out.
Dude,
I didn't watch it.
Why?
You missed out.
You're like one of those people that was playing League of Legends while the League of Legends world was going on.
No, dude. I didn't
Yes.
play League. I think I had like a break from League at the time.
Okay, doesn't mean you can't watch it.
Watching or playing. I wasn't watching or playing, so like, yeah.
Hey, what a time to take a break. You took the perfect time.
Okay.
Dude.
Round of
But this year,
applause.
I think I'm gonna make a trip to Worlds. I'm not sure yet.
It's in
So,
China.
Is it
dude.
just China? Do you want to go to Worlds, win a
You're gonna go
contest?
to China?
Win a
it's like
contest.
$1 grand. What is that, like $1 grand, like a round trip or something?
That's not a round trip. I don't think that's a round trip. $1 grand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's if you
No,
talk
it's probably
about
like
you talk about plane
500 or
costs.
700.
Yeah, you talk about plane
It's not
costs.
1,000. It's like $700.
That's just like plane ticket costs on its own. You're not talking. You haven't thought about the food or
No,
hotel.
I'm not talking about hotel and all that. But yeah, like
Isn't it like 700 or like 500?
if I wanted to go, you'd have to save up like.
You have to have a lot of money.
Dude, you should have bought the tickets already, dude. Like what?
The tickets aren't out yet.
Let's go.
The plane tickets.
Ah,
is
the
what you
plane
should have bought
ticket.
already.
No, it's fine, dude. You got months before that.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
but you still gotta plan out how much the tickets are gonna cost, like for the event itself.
Anyways, getting off topic. What were we talking about?
We're
Zed, or-
talking about World's hype.
Okay.
Just gonna bring
What
it-
I expect and what I loved every year isn't just the
The song.
like the awesome song, right? Which I love about every time
They're
that they
gonna
try.
bring Mark Z, dude. That's what they're gonna.
Mark.
No,
He's gonna
stop
be
it.
hype this year.
No, what I really love is when Riot just puts it on their map, like when you actually like feel like you're a part of the Worlds when like just seeing like it on the map, the symbol of Worlds getting like, just so you know, like Worlds is getting played right now, and there's this whole month of like excitement and like just leads up to it, where like PTL was getting a lot of views, a lot more views than before, because like people wanted to know who's gonna win, because not everybody had been watching.
PTL
previously to
died.
that.
Yeah.
PTL dead.
Pretty much got it. Now it's basically the
The dive and lane by lane.
and lane by lane. I don't really like
Lane by lane's the
I don't
best.
like
That's
it.
the
I don't
best.
like it.
I feel like
It's so
it's
boring, dude.
You're boring.
The topics are kind of
It's so
like,
cringy.
yeah. Anyways, also
Our last topic that we're gonna talk about is PUBG has been #1 on Twitch, and it actually surpassed League of Legends. It's one of those things where like it's not temporary anymore. It's
Not
been
temporary.
like 2 weeks.
are you
Can't
sure
remember
about
since
that?
then.
Hey, what do you mean? You remember Overwatch first
It's been a
release?
while.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's been a
you
while.
remember Overwatch?
Yeah.
No.
League?
I'm talking about on Twitch viewership.
That's the
so
same thing with
it's-
Overwatch.
Yeah, the
On Overwatch, it didn't pass it,
Yeah, I think at one point it did.
and for like a little bit.
And right now, the Dota International is going on. So
Yeah, it's always gonna be like that. Whenever CS:GO like has their tournament events, they have like 400,000 viewers on Twitch, and it's
yeah, but
Guys, I'm not talking about Dota. There's a Dota International. I get it. Okay, it's like when Worlds goes on and like League of Legends has the most viewers naturally, you know? But I'm talking about consistent, like normal casual viewers are watching more PUBG than they're watching League of Legends now.
Well, that's because there's more concurrent gamers. Right now, there's like 500,000 concurrent gamers on Steam that are playing PUBG. I think they recently broke the list of being the top of the other Steam games that have the most concurrent players. So it's just gonna come along with the hype of a new game. It's still getting more recognition.
It's been out for 4 months.
Yeah, it's been out for 4 months, but people are still barely getting into it more and more. Because more people get into it, the more the name gets out, and it brings in more people. It's still getting more popular as it goes on. I feel like when it goes finally, when maybe like hits like the 6th or 7th month, maybe it'll slowly die down, and it'll probably be picked up again after it comes out finally comes out in early access after it's all polished and everything. But I think it's something new because people always play H1Z1. They like the battle royale genre, battle royale type of game. And when Blue developer was the name, when they came out, they made this game. It's based off of the Arma 3 game. It's a mod version of the game that got its own release. So it's just like there's so much hype around the game. That's why it has so much concurrent viewers. Cause it's something new, it's something fresh. There's no arcade style shooting like CS:GO. I mean, like Overwatch. There's no tactical like one shot, one kill style, and just like CS:GO. It's more skill based and RNG's type of shooter, but it's not too cartoony, not too tactical. It's like kind of like a perfect blend in between the two.
nice way for you to take a break from all the grind, dude, on League of Legends.
Yeah.
And then Overwatch, if you're an Overwatch player, Watch has their own ranking system, but their seasons are a lot shorter. It's a good way to take a break, because I don't know if PUBG is going to be taken as seriously. I don't think it'll ever be taken as seriously as League or.
Do you think so? The big thing has to be, when does it die down? How long does this excitement last?
I think it'll settle down once it comes out with the full release. Because people had talked about, hey, PUBG, like they talked to like the main guy, the main creator, like, hey, why don't you like doing like major tournaments, like esports tournaments and that. He says he prefers not to until the game's fully released, which a lot of people in the community, some people in the community also agree with it, because there's still a bunch of bugs in the game that makes it like won't be like a respective game to see as an esports right now.
It's very entertaining to watch. That's
like
probably why.
there are some conventions that are doing like PUBG tournaments, but they're not really that much respected because it's still not like a fully complete game and there's still bugs in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of RNG in that game.
So much RNG, dude. You wouldn't believe it.
It's calculated RNG is what it is.
Calculated
Yeah,
RNG. There you go. Calculated RNG. I agree with that though. It's really entertaining to watch, and to an extent, I think I'm enjoying watching PUBG more than I'm enjoying watching League. But it could be that I'm just tired of watching League right now, or it could be that like just watching PUBG just feels a little more casual than watching League right now.
League of Legends player, dude, you never quit. You can't
Yeah,
really-
you're fake League of Legends player.
There is no quitting.
For shame on you.
Half.
I mean, if it takes a year, if it takes like 2 years, eventually you'll be like, I wonder where the game is at. Let me go give it a try. And you come back and you're like, fuck. What's this tank meta?
This is take meta.
What is this tank meta? All right, guys. That's it for us. Do you guys have anything else to say?
Where's my
Other
money?
than tank meta?
Where's my money for casting?
Jensen MVP vote. I can't wait for me to rub it in Robert's face.
I say,
Come
dude, it's
on.
gonna be Brixton over Jensen. I'm just gonna say it right now. Probably. If I guys pick two.
I think Well, how is MVP voting decided? Is it based?
I think it's off the
I think it's
casters.
off the players.
Is it casters and players?
Casters and players.
a fan vote?
If there was a fan vote, then TSM would win it every time. And there was a fan vote, then Haunter would have won it over Arrow. But that didn't happen.
That's why I was really suspicious about Bjergsen winning all the time. And I was like, is there a fan vote going on?
No,
It's just a staple name,
it's a
dude.
player.
Yeah, it's just like it's
No,
him
it's a
having.
player, guys. Players are voting.
Players.
Yeah.
And
Players and casters and analysts, yes.
wait, so like, who do you think is gonna take votes this year?
Who's gonna win the MVP?
Guys, we've already talked about this.
No,
Anyways,
who's gonna win Worlds this
I'm
year?
Oh,
glad
who's gonna win Worlds?
Year.
Who's gonna
Who's
win
gonna
Worlds?
Worlds this year?
Oh, damn it! I'm ready for it.
Really?
I'm ready for that the three-peat for SKT, so they win it 4
Look,
times.
All I have to say is if SKT doesn't go to Worlds, Korea doesn't win.
I think they're gonna go to Worlds. I think SKT will go to Worlds.
There's a lot of good teams right now.
Yeah, remember season 4 with Samsung White when they won Worlds?
Galaxy,
Yeah, Samsung White, Samsung Galaxy
yeah,
won.
but SKT didn't go to Worlds.
right?
Okay, that's still a Korean team though. You said Korea's not gonna win. SKT doesn't go.
Korea will not win this year. All right, I'm gonna call it right now. As a prophet.
Dude, Longsu Gaming's gonna win it all.
The worst Korean team.
They were, but they finally pulled themselves together.
Okay, that's what we're gonna close it off with. I'm glad everybody was able to join us. I hope you enjoyed our first web series and by KylinEsports, and hope you guys tune in with us next time.
You are the ocean's gray waves, destined to seek life beyond the shore, just out of reach. Yet the waters ever change, flowing like time. The path is yours to climb.